So, in today's video, we'll be taking a look back at that Playhouse Disney / Disney Junior show, The Imagination Movers, taking a brief look back at the show's history and discussing where that warehouse mouse puppet is today. What are we waiting for? Let's talk about it. Now, I do remember watching the Imagination Movers growing up on Playhouse Disney. I remember seeing them on the commercials and stuff like that. Now, thinking back, I probably was a little older than the demographic that was supposed to be watching the show. But with all that being said, I still do remember really enjoying the show and its funny characters. The Imagination Movers is a children's television series that was based upon the format and music of the New Orleans indie-based music group of the same name called the Imagination Movers. The members of the group both acted in and were co-executive producers of the show once it was on the Disney Channel. So to find out a little bit more about how the Imagination Movers got started as a band, here are two of the band's members, Scott and Rich, to explain a little bit more about how that happened.
It's funny because all the movers started having families around the same time. We all lived in the same neighborhood in New Orleans, Louisiana. And I had a friend who worked at a local PBS affiliate. And one of the things you become very aware of when you have children is you become an evaluator of children's media, whether it be music or video or movie or what have you. And so one of the things you immediately notice is the lack of real people. And so, we grew up with Captain Kangaroo and Mr. Rogers, and even local live action kids shows, there was a real person component. And so, at our family birthday parties for our kids, probably 1 and 2 at the time, we started kicking around the idea of this local live action kids show that was music based because Rich and I played music growing up, Smitty played music. And so that's sort of where the idea came, is like sharing this idea.
Scott started talking about this idea, and I think that it's kind of a miracle. It's one of those things that could have easily been a conversation after a beer and then never brought up again. But for whatever reason, we were all at a stage in our life where we wanted to keep talking about this idea. And so it was only a couple days later we gathered and we started sketching out ideas for let's workshop a script for our first television show. Let's workshop a concept. Let's write a couple of songs. And I'm telling you, within the first 2 weeks, we had just strummed the basics of what would be the theme song to Imagination Movers, and another couple of songs.
Also, a super shout out to the Purple Roads podcast for getting all this awesome information. And Rich and Scott even go further to explain how their show got picked up on Playhouse Disney.
Of working with Disney, it was funny because they came and saw us at Jazz Fest, and they were like, "Hey, let's do something," and we said no, because I think part of that whole thing was like we had at the plan at that time that we were going to go the PBS route, because here we had created so much creative content and intellectual property that we wanted to maintain our rights to it. And so the PBS route was kind of the route we were going.
We began, as playing at birthday parties, the Louisiana Children's Museum, maybe a French Quarter Fest or some other little festivals around the area, play in their kids area. And that's, we probably done it our 3rd or 4th time when Disney came.
Yeah.
And it was, for us at that moment, it was a spectacle because it was, this little tent. But at this point, we had become a kind of a thing. We'd gotten a lot of press. They came, they saw 2005. We went out to dinner at GW Finn's in the French Quarter, and they, we schmoozed and brainstormed and all that. And then, since that time, Jazz Fest, basically right after the Disney stuff started happening for us, Jazz Fest moved us to the big stages.
So now, as far as the television series, The Imagination Movers premiered on September 6, 2008 on the Disney Channel. The program was originally part of the Playhouse Disney Daily block, intended for preschoolers. On February 14, 2011, it was moved to the Disney Junior block, which served as Playhouse Disney's replacement. The Imagination Movers introduces preschoolers to their energetic rock and roll style of music while emphasizing creative problem-solving skills. The series itself focuses on the Imagination Movers, Rich, Dave, Smitty, and Scott, who dwell in the Idea Warehouse, which has a wide variety of rooms with different climates and sizes. In every episode, they aid many clients in problems dubbed Idea Emergencies, and think up creative ways to solve said problems. They are often aided by a funny little character named Warehouse Mouse, who's pretty much their pet mouse. And throughout each episode, you can see an appearance by their happy-spirited and ever-cheerful neighbor, Nina. Nina is played by popular Hawaiian actress Wendy Kalia, who lives right next door. She's a friend and neighbor who's always ready to help and aid them in their problem-solving conundrums. Nina also works for her uncle Knit Knot, who also has a business right next door to the Movers. Knit Knots is played by Douglas Fisher, a stuffy businessman who prides himself on finding ways to make anything and everything boring. A little mini spin-off series was created for the character Warehouse Mouse. The spin-off was called Where is Warehouse Mouse? It is a series of 3-minute shorts that aired on Playhouse Disney and Playhouse Disney UK and Ireland. The spin-off ran from August 24th, 2009 to February 2nd, 2010. The series focuses on the character Warehouse Mouse during his daily life. On May 30th, 2011, it was announced that the series would end after the remaining episodes of the 3rd season had aired. Though the band itself would continue and was open to multiple other projects, after the series finale aired on April 14, 2013, reruns continued to air until May 16, 2014. The series was made available on Disney Plus on February 28, 2020, and you can still watch it till this day. Now it's time to answer that main question about where are the puppets today. But most importantly, I want to give a huge shout out to my friend Andy over at the Andz YouTube channel, which I strongly suggest you pause this video and you go in the links below and you check out Andy's channel. You will not be disappointed. He's covered a few nostalgic and throwback shows that we have grown up with. And what's even cooler is that Andy is an upcoming filmmaker who actually is taking you through his journey as a filmmaker. He does these really cool videos that are like video diaries. So I was reached out to by Andy because he also is currently working on his own version of an Imagination Movers video, which you can actually go check out right now in the description below, or it should be popping up on screen here. And because Andy's doing a similar video, he got the awesome opportunity to interview Scott, one of the band members from the Imagination Movers.
I have a friend who runs the YouTube channel Justin Talks Puppets. He's really into puppets, and a series that he sort of has is like a where are they now sort of question. So I think my question is, where is Warehouse Mouse, like the puppet, today, if you know?
So I know Kevin Carlson, who was the puppeteer for Warehouse Mouse, has one. I believe the Scott Bright, who was the producer, has one. Now we have a 4-foot version, or maybe it's a 3-foot or 4-foot version. So I actually have that 4-foot version. That was the one we took when we did our live concerts, because you needed sort of this larger size for kids to be able to see it from far away. So I had that puppet. But I know Kevin Carlson is definitely one of the puppeteer who takes control, is very serious about maintaining the integrity of Warehouse Mouse.
Andy reached out to me and told me that he would actually be getting the chance to talk to Kevin Carlson, which I've gotten to do in the past, but I never got the chance to ask him about working on the Imagination Movers TV series.
It was an audition, and so I auditioned, and they didn't really know what they wanted yet with the mouse, because the Movers had an idea for the mouse, but the producers didn't quite connect with it, so they didn't know exactly what they wanted. So there was no script or dialogue, so it was all improv. And
really?
So I had the puppet on my hand, and no, I brought one of my puppets and was just improving and goofing around when playing, and I got a call back, and it was against me and this other girl, and I won out. I got it somehow. So, and that was a great experience, because, and the cool thing about it too is that the writers didn't really know what to do with the mouse either, until they kind of saw me goofing around and doing stuff. And then with Smitty, I kind of connected with Smitty, and Smitty was really supportive, and that helped a lot. So Smitty became the Warehouse Mouse's best friend, basically.
Forming the Warehouse Mouse and his design and the different sizes of him for different shots, how was that for you? Because I know there were different versions of said mouse.
Right.
Double.
Yeah, we had a stunt mouse, and then there was a stuffy, so that someone could hold him. I wouldn't be manipulating him, but they would hold him in a wide shot, so that he was present but not actually moving very much. And then early on, the design, he didn't have a mouth, And I said, it's got to have a mouth. So I pleaded with the builders and I said, hey, you've got to make a mouth. So they made a mouth trigger on my left hand, was like a wooden cable pull for the bottom of his mouth so it would open. And I was so glad that I talked him into that, because if, you know, as a puppeteer, you want to use all the things you can to make the character believable. And if he didn't have a mouth, it'd be kind of like he wouldn't say much or do much, you know. So Disney, you know, owns the character. So I'm sure it's on the desk of some producer or executive, you know, who knows, or it's in a warehouse or in a box or something, you know.
Right, perfect fitting for him, right there in the warehouse.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's how it is with most puppet shows. You know, the production team, you know, owns the characters.
I was talking to Scott. I asked him the question of like, where are the puppets today, and I think he said that he has one of them. He said that you might have one of them, and that the production team has one. Is that not? Do you not have one?
No, I don't. I want one. No, yeah, I don't have one. And the one that Scott has is probably the one from their tour.
So once again, a huge shout out and thank you to Scott, Kevin, and Andy. You guys rock, and thank you so much for allowing me the opportunity and the privilege to showcase you guys on the channel. Hey, let me know in the comments below, what was your favorite Playhouse Disney or Disney Junior show growing up? Leave me a comment below, I would love to know. Hey, thanks so much for watching this awesome puppet related video. If you enjoyed it, please do me a favor and go check out the next one right here on the screen. Kermit and I think you will enjoy it, and we'll see you over there. Until next time, take care and have an awesome day.